Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to go through and we're going to actually do a math lesson with some fractions, picking back up from March. We're on problem set 30/31. I want you to follow along with me. Watch me do the first one or two, and then I'll let you go and show me what you can do. First, before we get started, I just want to do a little review about mixed numbers. What is a mixed number? A mixed number has a whole number and it has a fraction. So I drew you a picture down here. We have one whole, also known as 3/3, because we know a fraction is actually a division problem. And then we have 2/3. So that's a mixed number. It's a mixture of a whole number and a fraction. We could also write it as an improper fraction. So we have 3/3 and we have 2/3. As an improper fraction, we would have 5/3. So this right here is an improper fraction. Okay? That will definitely be helpful when we get to subtracting fractions. Alrighty, let's get started with today's problem set, lesson 30/31. Remember, if you don't have your workbook, I did download or I uploaded a picture of today's so you could follow that and solve it in Notability. We're going to start with B because they already started A for us. So our equation is 4 1/4 plus 3 2/4. So what we're going to do is we're going to break apart or decompose our mixed number. So we have 4 and we have 1/4. I'm going to do my second add end. I have 3 and I have 2/4. Notice that I kind of made them diagonal from each other, and you'll see why as I go through and I solve. I'm going to first start with my whole numbers. Remember, when we make our whole numbers, I make them a little dramatically big. See how you could tell the difference that this is my whole number and this is my numerator, this is my denominator. Don't go too crazy. Now, here we go. I'm going to start with my whole numbers, and I'm going to add 4 plus 3, and I know that that gives me a sum of 7. Now I can go ahead and add my fractions. Notice that I made it diagonal, so I kind of set up two equations for myself. I first look at my denominators, and I see that they are the same, so I know that they're going to stay the same. And now I can add my numerators. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now I'm going to put these back together as a mixed number, giving me a total or a sum of 7 3/4. Awesome. We're going to move along to letter C. We have 2 1/6 plus 4/6. So we're adding a mixed number plus a fraction. So this one's a little different because we don't have to add the whole numbers. So let's first start by decomposing that mixed number to 2 1/6. And then we just have 4/6. First, we're going to add 2. Well, 2 plus nothing is still 2. We're going to look at our denominators. 6 and 6, they're the same, so I know they're going to stay the same. Good. 1 plus 4 is 5. Now, I can't leave it like this. This is me not completing my work. So we need to make sure we're taking those two numbers and we're making them back into that mixed number, giving us a sum of 2 5/6. I want you to go ahead and make sure you're writing your answers down, showing your work if you didn't do so. And then we'll start down at the bottom using a number line to show our work. Okay, so for this problem, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and solve A, sorry. We're going to do the same thing we did above, but I'm going to show you at the end, you're going to have to use a number line or a different strategy to check your work. So let's first start by, we have 2 4/5 plus 1 2/5. I want you to pause your video and first just show me how did you decompose this like I did up here, and then check back in the video with me to see if we did it the same. Let's check and see, boys and girls. So you broke apart 2 4/5, 1 2/5. You added your whole numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. 4 plus 2, so we got to first look Our denominators are the same, so they're going to stay the same. 4 plus 2 is 6, giving us a answer or total of 3 6/5. Beep, 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 beep. Wrong, we can't do this. Does anyone remember what this is called? This is an improper fraction. We can't leave a fraction as improper, so we need to convert that to a mixed number. So we're gonna just focus in on this 6/5. So I have 6/5, and I'm gonna decompose it and take away 1 whole out of it. We know that 5/5, 5 divided by 5 equals 1. It's the same as 1 whole. 6 minus 5 equals 1. So 1 out of 5. Meaning 6/5 is worth the same as 1 1/5. This is it as a mixed number. So what I did over here was I took this 6/5 away and I converted it to a mixed number. Now that I've converted it, I can add it to that leftover whole number. So 3 plus 1 1/5. Add my whole numbers. 3 plus 1 is 4. I have no other fraction. So truly our answer is 4 1/5. If you left it as 3 6/5, unfortunately, I'd have to mark you wrong. Okay, lovely. What we're going to do is we're just going to double check our work using a number line. So what our number line has is it's broken up into fifths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we're dealing with the fraction of fifths. So what we did was we first added our whole numbers. So we have 2 plus 1. So let's go to 2. And we're going to add 1 whole, which puts us at 3. Now we need to add 4/5 and 2/5. So to add 4, that means I'm going to count over 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cross that off because I added it. And I have 2/5 more. 1, 2. Giving me an answer of 4. And this is 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. So 4 1/5. So we could use the number line. So if we were going to go ahead and do a number line for this one, does anyone know how we would break apart our number line? We could start with 3 if you want, because we don't need to do 1. We'll do 3, 4, and 5, even though we may not need it. So does anyone know what we would break it up into? Remember to look at our denominator. Good, so if our denominator is 4, we're going to break it up into fourths. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to break it in half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's into fourths. So I like to go to 3. There we go, we're at 3. We're going to add 3/4 plus 3/4. So 1, 2, 3. There's 3/4, and add 3/4 again. 1, 2, 3, giving me an answer of 4 2/4. I want you to pause your video and using our strategy like we had over here, double check your work. I'll leave this up if that helps you. Check back with me to see how you did with B. Boys and girls, if you could take a minute to check, I did the standard algorithm to see, and when I added it, I got 3 6/4, which we knew this was improper. So I went over here and I decomposed or broke it down. I took 1 whole out of it, also known as 4/4. I was left with 2/4 together as a mixed number. That's 1 2/4. I went over and then I added it together, giving me 4 2/4, which on the number line we also got that. For your exit ticket today, you're going to add 3 3/8 plus 2 6/8. You can find that on Schoology. You can use the number line strategy. You can do like we did back in March using the decomposing, whatever works for you. Good luck. And again, you're doing C for problem 2.